Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into some really cool research today. At least I think it's cool. You know me.
Always curious.
Always. But seriously, you shared some stuff with me, a paper called Time Will Tell, and the idea that time itself is like key to cybersecurity. That just blew my mind. Forget just passwords and firewalls. We're talking about actual time now.
It really makes you think, right? We're so used to focusing on the tech, the latest threats, but this research says, hold on. Our own brains are a huge part of the equation. And human behavior. Let's just say it doesn't always follow the rules.
Right. It's like we can have the best defenses in the world, but if we're having a bad day, all bets are off.
Exactly. And that's where this idiographic approach comes in. It's all about looking at how things change for us individually, day to day, even hour to hour.
So instead of being like all millennials are bad at passwords, it's more about how your own focus on security might be different on a Monday morning versus a Friday afternoon.
You got it. And what they found with this approach is, well, it challenges some old assumptions. Like, think about those little justifications we make sometimes. Oh, it's fine to share this password. It's just this once. You know, those neutralization techniques they talk about?
Neutralization techniques, yeah, like when we make excuses to bend the rules a little. I think we've all been there, haven't we?
We have, every single one of us. And previous research said, basically, the more we use those techniques, the weaker our overall cybersecurity tends to be.
Which makes sense, right? More excuses equals more risk.
Exactly. But here's where this new research gets really interesting. It suggests it's not just whether we have those thoughts, those excuses, but when we have them.
Okay, so there's more to it. Like, timing matters.
Timing is everything. They found this kind of Friday effect going on, where that link between making excuses and being less secure gets even stronger as the week goes on.
A Friday effect. Huh. Tell me more about this Friday effect. Does it involve snacks? Because I'm all about snacks on a Friday.
Well, imagine that it's Friday afternoon, you're mentally drained, right? You've been making decisions and resisting temptation all week long, and your willpower, it's like a muscle that gets tired too. By Friday, it's pretty worn out.
Oh, tell me about it. My brain is definitely running on fumes by Friday afternoon.
And just like you might be more likely to give in to that extra donut on a Friday when you're feeling depleted.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. Definitely relate to that.
The research suggests the same goes for cybersecurity. We're just more likely to let our guard down, clicking on things we shouldn't, forgetting to log out, that kind of thing. They call it ego depletion.
Ego depletion. So is that like the technical term for I need a nap and a cookie? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
Pretty much. It's that point where we've just hit our decision-making limit, you know? And our cybersecurity brains are like, nope, can't even. It's pizza night.
Okay, that is both hilarious and kind of terrifying. So knowing my brain might be basically asking to get fished by Friday afternoon, what can I actually do about it?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And it's not just about us as individuals being aware of it. The researchers say this whole idiographic approach, this focus on how we change throughout the day, even it's huge for understanding anything that has these ups and downs.
So not just cybersecurity then?
Not at all. It's our energy, our moods, heck, even how we feel about those cybersecurity rules we're supposed to follow.
Oh yeah, like 1 minute I'm all gung-ho after a training session, next minute I'm back to using password 123 because it's easier.
Exactly. It's not always about knowing the right thing. It's about whether our brains are actually in the mood to do the right thing at that moment.
Makes sense. It's like, I can't expect to run a marathon at the same pace I did at the starting line, right? Things change.
Exactly. And that's where this research gets really interesting. Imagine if companies actually factored this cyber fatigue into how they do things.
Instead of making me change my password on a Friday when I'm already halfway out the door mentally.
Right. Or maybe they build in mental refresh breaks the same way we have those safety guidelines for physical stuff.
Whoa, like mandatory cat videos at 3 p.m. on Thursday. I can get behind that.
Hey, whatever works. We know taking breaks helps us focus, so why not apply that to cybersecurity awareness too?
Okay, I'm convinced. So we're moving away from this one-size-fits-all security approach to something more personalized.
Exactly. It's acknowledging that our vulnerabilities, they aren't fixed, they change right along with us. And getting that is key to making cybersecurity strategies that actually work.
So sometimes the weakest link isn't the tech. It's literally our own brains taking a break at the worst possible moment.
That's a powerful takeaway. And it's huge, both for how we protect ourselves and how organizations think about security overall.
Wow, that's a whole new way of thinking about it for sure.
It really is, isn't it?
So before we wrap up here, was there anything else in this research that really jumped out at you? Anything we haven't gotten to yet?
You know, there was one little thing. Yeah, In that interview with one of the authors, they said they actually started out wanting to study something called cybersecurity fatigue.
Cybersecurity fatigue. Oh, like when you've just had it up to here with security warnings and password updates.
Exactly. And apparently it's a pretty new area of research. They wanted to see if that fatigue, like those excuses we were talking about, also peaked on Fridays.
Oh, interesting. So more cybersecurity fatigue on top of everything else we're already dealing with.
Well, that was the thought. But as they dug in deeper, they realized this whole idiographic approach, this focus on individual change, it was actually way more powerful than they'd even expected. It applies to so many different cybersecurity behaviors.
So they stumbled onto something even bigger while looking at something specific. I kind of love that.
Me too. It's a good reminder, especially in a field like this, that sometimes the most exciting discoveries happen when you least expect them.
A deep dive into discoveries. That's for next time. But for today, we've got a surface from this one, sadly.
We do. So what would you say is the, biggest thing for our listeners to take away from all this?
Well, I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to my own cybersecurity habits as the week goes on. Maybe even try scheduling a few of those mental refresh breaks we talked about. What about you?
I love that idea. And for everyone listening, take a minute to think about how your own behavior might change over the week. How could those changes be impacting, your online safety without you even realizing it? We're all human, and our willpower is, well, it's not exactly unlimited, just like our energy.
So true. This whole deep dive suggests that maybe the strongest defense isn't just a complicated password, but knowing when to give ourselves a break.
And taking that a step further, imagine if our workplaces recognized cyber fatigue just as easily as they recognize, a physical injury. That'd be something.
Right. Mental refresh breaks just built into the workday. I like the sound of that.
It's about time we started prioritizing our mental well-being in the digital world the same way we do in the physical one, I think.
Couldn't agree more. What a fascinating deep dive. This conversation has given me so much to think about, from cybersecurity to human behavior, and even how I structure my own week.
Always glad to chat. These deep dives are always a highlight for me.
Mine too. And I'm sure our listeners feel the same way. Until next time, everyone, stay curious, stay vigilant, and most importantly, stay safe out there in that digital world of ours.